This revolution is quiet. This revolution doesn't have a birth date. This revolution, believe it or not, I think, and I will argue, and others who are smarter than I have argued, is as important, arguably more important to military science, and defines and restricts and characterizes arms control and military deployments of nuclear weapons. I think I got carried away. I'm not sure all that's true, but it sounds great. I think it's true. Let me try. At least there's a case to be made. The decreasing inaccuracy of weapons happened over basically from 1941 till, roughly today. And instead of, having CEPs of 75 square miles, we're now down to, a few square yards. That's a 10,000, what did I say? That revolution is, I want to say, I think I say it here. Well, here we go, CEP. Okay. I think that was a 10,000-fold reduction, yes, in inaccuracies. Well, what's that worth? That's not a million-fold increase in yield. It's only a 10,000-fold function. It's much more powerful. To give you some idea, this has to do with large yield weapons. This formula will not work with conventional high explosive. If your CEP is 10 kilometers, you need 333 weapons to have a probability that you're going to knock out that point target that's pretty high, like 90%. That's kind of good enough for government work if it's 90%. Our military likes this formula, by the way. They use it. But if you get that from 10 KT, 10 kilometers down to 0.5, you don't need 333 weapons. You need 1. And if you get down to much less than that, like where we are now, a few yards, you don't even need high explosive. The kinetic energy of the casing of the weapon will wipe the thing out. And if you think I'm kidding, there are concepts called rods from God, which was Al Ladder's concoction from R&D Associates. And I remember when he first told me about it in 1982. We didn't quite do it. But you can just take a rod and put it on an ICBM, and it will blow up with enough accuracy any point target we can imagine. We got into this revolution, if there was a birth date, with this. I guess I'd peg it at this. I think the class, I have 2 students that are actually taking this for credit. If you want to have sympathy, it should be to them, okay? Digby is how you get the answer to one of the quiz questions. You'll have to read it. Reading is required. Jesus. All right. But what happened in 1972 is they were trying to lower this bridge span, and they never could hit the pylons. They can only hit, sections. But what you needed to hit is this. 800 sorties. Never got it. Laser designation. Somebody had one of these. They went, okay, there's the pylon. That guy honed in on that designation, knocked it out. I think it was, 8 bombs? It wasn't many. Yes, 8 bombers brought the bridge down. And I remember when this happened, and Digby wrote his piece, not just a little bit based on this event. What else happened? Here's a Titan missile at 9 megatons. You can read about this book. Does anybody know a book called Command and Control, or seen a little movie? You have. They were talking about missiles in, I think it was Arkansas. They had warheads that were 9 megaton. Had that gone off, had things gone a little bit not so well in the emergency that occurred, someone dropped a wrench and things didn't go well. You can read about it. And there was fear that this thing would go off. Anyway, 9 megatons. That was our city buster that we had in reserve. We don't have it anymore. With precision, by 85, we were using 5 KT warheads, okay, to destroy some of the same targets. deep buried targets. Here's another military scientific trend you want to look at. By the way, I'm almost done. This is a massive lecture. This is basically a 4-hour lecture, okay? Sorry. Take a look at this. This is the number of weapons in the stockpile, Russian and American. You'll notice that when precision, it's 1972, is right around here. You'll notice that we start going down. Russians took a little longer to get into this revolution, but you'll notice it went down. That wasn't primarily because of arms control agreements. Arms control agreements caught up with military science, I would argue, more often than not. Although we'll get into that. The equivalent megatonnage, the amount of oomph or yield in each, on average, in the arsenal that we had, you'll notice it went way down. That's because of the precision. That was because of the precision.